Welcome to the Australian Science and Mathematics School. We want to use the big ideas of learning design to show you how we made the thinking behind learning tasks explicit. This includes examples of how learning design ideas have been integrated into our pedagogy and curriculum in Year 10 mathematics. The ASMS has a focus on innovation in science and mathematics education. Using learning design gives us a framework for ensuring our ideas result in practical sequences that work for students. At the beginning of every topic, students are given a core mathematical learning sheet, also known as a CML. The CML lists every outcome the student must know by the end of the topic, giving them an explicit and tangible list to work with. The knowledge is broken up in two different ways, into factual, procedural and conceptual ideas to help students understand the type of engagement needed, and into Year 10, 11 and 12 outcomes for differentiation and use as support or extension material.
To me, a CML is a basis to what I put into my journal. So we have 4 different sections and they each contain different ways to explain these points. One section is talking about just the basic knowledge about dot points. The next one is kind of more doing diagrams and explaining how the topics are put into work. We also have applications, which is real-world examples, and conceptual knowledge, which links everything back together.
Creation of a CML requires synthesis of curriculum documents and translation of the content into a form students can engage with. Usually, 1 or 2 teachers will take responsibility for the first draft of a CML, including mapping out the curriculum requirements, writing them in accessible language, assigning factual, procedural and conceptual sections, and developing applications. Other teachers and sometimes students will give feedback and ideas individually before the CML is further evolved through discussion at a team meeting. Although many of the mathematical outcomes are listed in abstract terms so they are more broadly applicable, the importance of mathematics for real-world purposes is emphasised by listing relevant applications on the CML. Students are required to draw their own connections between the outcomes and applications throughout the learning process. We consider 2 distinct aspects of what students bring to the classroom. The first one is based on student learning styles and preferences. At the beginning of the year, all students use an integral learning model program, which is similar to a mood diagram. This helps them identify preferred ways of learning in terms of 4 colours: green for sequential and organised, blue for logical, red for emotional and interpersonal, and yellow for creative and holistic. This then gives them a language to discuss their learning styles with peers and teachers. Worksheets in class, specific interventions and types of learning are often tagged against the 4 colours so students can make informed decisions about how best to use them. We don't encourage only working with strengths, but instead emphasise a holistic approach to using all colours. Knowing them assists students in deciding how to approach different types of tasks, but does not restrict them to working with only specific styles.
I'm blue and green, which means I'm kind of more logical and into planning. I'm not so much red or yellow, which means I'm not really creative with my work, or I don't like doing group work. My journal is set out a certain way, so I do certain things in certain orders, so it's really planned out. And I like working with numbers and equations more than writing out diagrams and using pictures.
The second aspect of what students bring is prior knowledge of content. To prompt this, at the beginning of every topic, students participate in an elicitation of prior knowledge activity, or EPK. These vary widely, but are created in a similar way to the CML. One teacher will create a draft and it will evolve based on feedback and ideas from the team. At the beginning of the statistics and probability topic, students sorted words commonly used in everyday language on a probability number line. This helped them link their use of the words with mathematical uses. At the beginning of the quadratics topic, students used prior knowledge of other functions to articulate how they could identify quadratics based on features of graphs, equations, and contexts. Through activities in class and peer discussions, teachers have the opportunity to determine how much prior knowledge students have and identify common alternative conceptions, while students can identify links to what they already know and create dissonance with their misconceptions. In response to the CML, students create a journal that demonstrates understanding of all the points listed on it. How they do the learning is a self-directed choice. Students can do research, principally from the internet. They read websites, watch online videos, and do online quizzes. They can use textbooks and library resources as teaching tools or sources of practice questions. They can attend workshops run by teachers on topics that may be decided by students or teachers and that are taught in a variety of ways. They can engage with teacher-designed resource sheets accessible through the school intranet system that they can work through at their own pace. These sheets may be pen and paper work, construction and model building, or use computer programs such as GeoGebra. Students who wish to extend can even have a go at writing their own scaffolds that will assist other students to learn concepts.
In a typical lesson, teachers are sometimes doing workshops and others are with small study groups. I prefer to work in small study groups because a lot of students choose to go on Google, but I find that Google can't give you all the answers, and when I have one-on-one with teachers, it really helps more effectively for my learning.
Any student engaging in any of these options is a student learning something. Any classroom will consist of students choosing a range of different options based on their needs and preferences at that time, with a teacher available to support them. Students chronicle their learning in a journal. The journal can be created and presented in any form, but must show understanding of the outcomes listed on the CML according to the levels of Bloom's taxonomy, and link to applications of the mathematics in real life. The journaling process sheet helps guide students through what to put in the journal. Each journal includes a metacognitive reflection in which the student analyses their learning process. The integral learning model and colour language helps students articulate this. Students can include research, worksheets, notes from workshops and screenshots as evidence of their learning. The journal is assessed for breadth and depth of learning, creativity and understanding of the self as a learner.
A journal is the different points from a topic that we learn in maths. My journal, I handwrite my journal, and this is helpful because then I can use all different colours and diagrams, I can hand draw them. I find it a lot easier to write down notes quicker as well.
I've been creating my journal using the computer, and what I like to do is go forwards and research everything before I start typing it up, and then I can write everything down and do all my editing afterwards.
Students sit a test at the end of each topic. In addition to being assessed by the teacher, students self-mark and self-assess their tests before writing a test reflection, in which they analyse their areas of strength and weakness and develop strategies for improvement. This reflection becomes part of their journal. To support students in a self-directed environment, teachers use innovative pedagogies that allow for a high level of differentiation and flexibility.
Intervention methodology is a way of customising curriculum for a more inclusive pedagogy. At the ASMS, we use scaffolded interventions to direct students' thinking, and we use intervention methodology to support individual students when that thinking doesn't happen in a way that we're happy with. We use interventions around Bloom's taxonomy and the different levels of thinking to challenge students. We use scaffolding around the integral learning model to extend students, and then we use responsive interventions around individual student needs to support them in their development.
Team teaching refers to the use of multiple teachers in a particular classroom environment, whether it's a case of multiple teachers per one class or multiple teachers with multiple classes. And in our particular context, the way that we approached team teaching was actually having two teachers with two classes, all existing in the one learning environment. The team teaching can be used to help extend, support and challenge the learners by simply creating an environment where one teacher can support the large majority of the class and the other teacher can target specifically individual students or small groups of students to really nut out exactly what it is they need, what it is they want to know, or what it is that they can do to help them step to the next level.
All these ideas come together to create a teaching and learning plan. All topics begin with an elicitation of prior knowledge activity. Students are then given the core mathematical learning sheet and make choices about how they learn and practice the outcomes listed, using Bloom's taxonomy to scaffold their learning levels and connecting to appropriate contexts. Pedagogies such as intervention methodology and team teaching are used to support and challenge students in a self-directed learning environment. Students produce a journal that chronicles their learning in a format of their choosing, including a metacognitive reflection on their learning processes, as well as understanding of the mathematical content. They take the journal with them to an end-of-topic test, which they analyse afterwards to see areas of strength and areas for improvement. Through using the learning design process, units can be deconstructed and pedagogies examined to see where students can be better supported and extended in their learning. Although presented in a sequential way, the process itself can cycle back and forth between ideas many times. This example of using learning design at the ASMS in Year 10 mathematics has shown how all the big ideas fit together into a unit of work.